It was a night that started full of anticipation that very quickly turned to anxiety and finished with anger as Celtic could only draw nothing each with Kazakh champs Kairat Almaty. On a tense night at Celtic Park, there's so much to go through. This is Tino, joined by Paddy and James the morning after for the final whistle show. Paddy, I'll come to you first. Just what's your top ahead thoughts right now?
Lack of planning again. I just think it seems to be that we're in this position where we're in another state where we have to qualify for Europe, and we're gambling. We've laughed for years and years about Near Beaton being the guy that comes in and plays centre mid, centre half when there's a bit of a crisis or we're waiting just to press the button when we qualify, and it just seems to be happening again, which for me shows zero growth, zero planning and zero forward direction. I heard yesterday as well on the commentary that this is the fourth season in a row, fourth time in a row where we've been in the qualifiers and failed to qualify, and this is now leading potentially to a fifth time in a row. So serious questions have to be asked of the board, and yeah, I think we need to really put the pressure on there.
No doubt. And just on that stat as such, someone sent me through a message earlier on talking about our failings in recent times. So we've got Armenia, Bratislava, Arsenal, which is to be expected. That was Tony Mowbray time. Then you can rattle off a number of teams that we failed to beat: Braga, Maribor, Malmo, AEK Athens, Cluj, Ferencvaros, Midtjylland, and now, question mark, Kairat Almaty. James, it's a pattern, and as it stands, the way we're working isn't working.
No, absolutely not. You know, this is a team that showed real progress last year and took Bayern Munich to the line and showed that we had a foundation, a base core of players to build on. Now, I think that obviously the players last night have the ability to beat Almaty. Of course they do. But this is a bit like when the board sold Hugo and didn't replace him. It sets a tone, it sets a culture. So when the board are told by the manager and anyone who knows anything about football what Celtic need, I don't think there's any real disparity among Celtic fans if you ask them what do you need. You know, it's left back cover, it's left wing, right wing, it's striker. So everyone knows what we need, including the board, and they don't do it. It sets a tone, and that filters through the players. That creates a nervousness because there's more expectation on them without that injection of energy that new players bring. Every squad gets tired. This is not unique to Celtic. What I would say is anyone who is pointing to players and management for last night is shielding the board from the full fury that they deserve. So have a think about that. If you're getting into the nitty-gritty of this player's not played well or the manager should have done this, you're protecting the board from what they should be taking in terms of feedback from the fans, as direct as it was last night. You know, they clap themselves in the back as, you know, we're so well done, we've got all this money. They've got that money by just being top dog in Scotland and being lucky enough to qualify for the Champions League automatically those few times. You look at Bruges, they sold 80 million worth of talent and they bought 30 million worth of talent. That's Champions League stuff, not the nonsense that we play with.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, by being top dogs in Scotland, that gets us to where we are, and the player trading model. But people talk about this fantastic player trading model. It's only a complete model, Paddy, if it comes full circle and allows you to rejuvenate the squad and replenish the squad with the guys that exit. I also think, and I've seen some comments, and I think there's something to them, the guys that have been here for a while, CCV, Hatate, Dies Maeda, obviously Callum McGregor, even Alistair Johnson, they require a freshness as much as fans do.
Yeah.
The team becomes stale, and as much as there's clamour from us, of course there is as fans, I think those individuals, those guys who are proven winners at Celtic, they want to see new blood coming in as well.
They do, of course they do, and I think you can't just sit on that. You know, you've got to continuously grow. You've got to keep people on your toes. I take your point, Jim, about obviously the everything lies with the board here. I do have to bring the manager into it a little bit in terms of the fact that we're still relying on the likes of Liam Scales at centre half. When you've spent 6 million on a centre half last season, you've brought him in to do a job and he's nowhere near the bench in Austin Trusty. You've also got Paolo Bernardo and Luke McGowan sitting on the bench that don't get a sniff yesterday. So what's the point in those signings? That's the questions I've got to ask for Rodgers, because these are players that he wanted and he got. And was that to fill the squad? I'm not entirely sure. But the fact that Liam Scales, who was almost out the door a couple of years ago, is keeping Austin Trusty out of the team, I don't know if it's proving a point. I don't know if it's a dig at the board with the quality that he's got. And I don't know if it's Brendan Rodgers signings or Celtic signings like we've seen with Inamura and with the looks of it, Shin Yamada. But that persistency to stick with to Liam Scales is going to cost us, in my opinion. I thought he was really poor last night. And again, just so slow in building us out for the back. If you look up in front of you, though, what options have you got? What options have you got if it's Yang in front of you or James Forrest? It's not going to last a full 90 minutes. There's serious questions need answered.
Yeah, but I've seen a number of occasions in the second half where I'm kind of torn on my criticism of Liam Scales, because Liam Scales, as an individual, he gives us all, and you get the best of what Liam Scales is, but that best is limited. But so many times, particularly in the second half, especially when he went to that left back position, he found himself breaking forward, getting past one or two guys and nothing in front of him. Backs are shirts. I'm not saying guys are hiding. I think that's a serious thing to throw at a player, but not finding space, certainly, to be polite about it. And Liam Scales was often having... I remember at one point he broke the lines and had to pass it back to Carter Vickers after breaking the lines. It was ridiculous in a game where you're chasing.
There's an element of that, though, Tino. Like, I remember, I'm not saying we're anywhere near Pep's Barcelona of the golden era, right? But there's an element of the average time that a player had the ball was no more than 4 seconds. Liam Scales takes too many touches. He slows everything down. So that pass that you're looking for is already gone. It's too late. So we can't come out for the back quick enough. And I just don't get why we go and spend that amount of money on a centre-half in Austin Trusty and he doesn't get a sniff until the last.
You've been tuning in to the Final Whistle show from Celtic Exchange as we cover that result against Kairat Almaty. Our post-match episodes are usually only available in full to our members over on Patreon, but for this one, we've decided to make it free for all as the boys make their feelings known on happenings at Celtic Park right now. So to continue enjoying this episode in full for free, simply head to patreon.com/Celtic Exchange and set up a free account, and it'll all be there for you. So head to patreon.com/Celtic Exchange and join the growing community of Celtic fans that are helping us to change the game.